This is a Poeartistry Gold Moment by the author James Lynch.
Hello, Perceptive reader, and welcome to this Poeartistry Gold Moment again. I want you to think back to the younger days, and some of you may still be attending them, but the fairgrounds, the state fair, have you ever gone to one of those? For the ones who have, does it bring up great memories for you? How about not only the rides, but then you have the food, the experiences, and some of the experiences were not really ones that you would, have even considered you would spend still the next 10, 15 minutes just observing somebody at their work. All right. Now, speaking of observing somebody at their work, what if someone came to you and said they have $1 million idea? Now, imagine that. Or maybe they won't say it exactly like that, but they still may make some type of offer to you, you see, and they'll mention it has, some money to it. They're positive that it would work with you. Now, sometimes people who are already well established, you see, they're like, oh, no, I'm not going to try anything new with nobody else or what have you. And then you also have people who just want to make a change from what they may have been doing for years. And so they'll look at what the person is saying, but then they may still say, okay, it sounds good, but I still don't know whether you're the right person to do it or what have you. Well, listen to this. Let's go back to the state fairground. Remember, people had to sometimes actually get in line to actually engage in some type of contest. You know how they had all those games where you could win prizes. And people would actually sometimes be in line to shoot a target, to shoot a basket, which again, the way that they made those hoops sometimes, it was just amazing. It was almost like if the ball barely touched the rim, it's like it just went all over the place. I mean, it makes you think that wonder if they put something on it to make it be like that, because even people who were on high school level basketball teams, etc., they were having a hard time. They actually couldn't shoot as many of the basketballs during that time limit to get a prize. And then they would challenge the person who was, the administrator, the game master, or what have you, of whatever that game was, what it was called, just shooting basketball. There were many other games that I could sit up there and name to tell you that it was always some type of catch that made it feel like it was rigged. And then the person who was actually the game administrator could just do it every single time. As for example, when somebody would say that, man, nobody can make those many baskets, in the time frame that you're talking about to get that big, huge prize that they were offering, like a stuffed animal or something like that. The next thing you know, the administrator will even go at some type of weird angle, where the distance would be even further than what the persons who were at the bench or banister or what have you were, and was just able to make those shots one after the other. I mean, even barely looking at them behind the back and everything of that nature. And so you knew that, boy, if you wanted to win a prize, you could probably ask that person on their day off if they could come back and just help you win a prize, etc. Okay. Well, that's the same thing as to your observation of some people. Okay, your observation of some people who may come to you with an idea. You may not, see this laid out plan, this agenda, or what have you, but from what you already seen of the person, the way they function, the way they move, and especially if you've already observed them for more than, I say, 3 to 6 months or what have you, you know pretty much where they're at, where they're about. And what I got to remind you is on this. It's very important not to overanalyze or even be hypercritical on people and their day-to-day task or what have you. I realize that saying about the way you do one thing is the way that you do everything. And, you know, I always say, again, that doesn't necessarily always apply. I mentioned that it applies to the situation. You know, it's like apples and oranges. It's like sometimes, as I told you, we're just human. Sometimes we just may be kicking rocks around on the road, and it doesn't mean we don't take life serious. We may just be in one of our, you know, strange little toy or playful moods or what have you, even if it seems like we're always in a playful mood. But when that focus comes upon that individual, which you have been able to observe at times, then you know that person said it. I've seen the person even do it. So I know what they're saying is truthful. So that's what I'm just saying to you again today, that sometimes the reason why you don't see as many millionaires and billionaires around or what have you even today is just because the way the system is kind of set up, which I won't go into details. Some of you already know exactly what I mean. It's almost like you still got to wait in line, you see. And sometimes, even when your turn comes up, somebody else cuts in front of you. Yeah, that used to happen on the state fairgrounds as well. But all the same, you do have persons in that line, and you've seen it, that they watched it, they took notes, they practiced enough, especially like those administrators, that when their turn came up, they knew they could get the prize. And they did get the prize. And so sometimes by your observation, you can see who you're talking to, who you've been dealing with, even content creators that you may even be saying, oh, if that person's turn is up, they certainly going to get that prize and get that prize exponentially lucrative, etc. Have a very wonderful day, Perceptive Reader. Take good care of yourself.